Hey everyone, welcome. At the beginning of January this year, I got in this projector, which is the Optoma HD144X. It's a Full HD DLP projector, which supports 3D as well. Now, as of now, I haven't used the 3D feature because I don't have any 3D glasses, so I can't tell you much about that. But I have been using this projector for roughly 100 hours or so. In this video, I'm going to share my experience with you, and at the end of the video, I will give you my conclusion. So let's dive into the specifications of this projector. So this is a 1080p Full HD DLP projector. It has 3400 lumens and a contrast ratio of 23,000 to 1. So even in brighter rooms, this projector performs really well. And the screen size is between 28 inch to 301 inch diagonal, with a throw ratio of 1.47 to 1.62 and a projection distance of 1 to almost 10 meters. Now, as I mentioned, the brightness is 3400 lumens and the lamp life, well, can go up to even 12,000 on dynamic, 10,000 hours on eco and 3,500 hours on bright mode. The noise level it produces, typical, well, I find it the lowest is 25 decibels up to 35, 36 decibels. So yeah, it will be audible. The same goes for the color wheel that's inside. It will come clear in the video. And furthermore, it is equipped with a 10 watt speaker. Don't expect home cinema quality from this, but it can be very helpful if you don't have anything else at the moment. And the power consumption is between 205 and 295 watts, and it weighs 2.87 kilograms. So let's have a look on the back of this projector. It has two HDMI 1.4A connectors. It's only Full HD, so that's fine. And one of them supports MHL. And they both do support 3D. Then we have one 3.5mm jack audio output, one USB Type A connection at 1.5 amps. We have a 3D sync connector and one time a 12 volt trigger. Then on the front with the lens you have the focus wheel, and behind that is the zoom wheel. Then on the top of this device we find the basic controls for operating this projector. And of course you get a remote control with this, which has a backlit function as well, so that's pretty handy, and it's very bright, so you can even use it as a flashlight, almost. Also, this projector doesn't have lens shift, so you are left with keystone for that. So with the specs out of the way, I will show you now how I use this projector for the last month. So this is our living room, rather small living room. As you can see, there is the projection screen. And this is where I mounted the projector. It's roughly 3 meters to the projection screen. And I mounted this with a ceiling mount I got on Amazon for about 20 euros. And I will put a link in the video description for you as well. And the power is coming from an outlet from the ceiling. Yeah, not the most clean setup, but yeah, it works. Yeah, for now. So yeah, that's where the power is coming from. Yeah. Straight to the projector, and as you can see on the projector I have connected a Google Chromecast as well as a 10 meter HDMI cable, and that one is running alongside the ceiling to there, yes, and then it goes down behind the OLED, down, and yeah, let's have a look on the setup, how I did this, because here is the surround left, then there is the Sonos Beam, and then there we have the right surround, and the surround speakers are the Symphonisk speakers. I did a video about that as well, but let's see how we got that all connected. So the HDMI cable is coming down and it goes into this HQ HDMI switch. It's a really old one, only 1080p. It has 4 HDMI inputs, 1 HDMI output. And if you want audio pass-through with this, you will have to connect a Toslink cable to every HDMI source as well. And that's a bit of a problem, because here you can see the Shield 2019 model, and that one doesn't have a Toslink connector. So I'm basically at the moment not using the Shield. Then to the right we have the Xbox One S. This is our main portal, I should say, for our home theater setup. We watch Netflix, Amazon Prime, we have Kodi on that, Plex as well, and of course we use it for gaming. Yeah. Then on top of this we have a Nintendo Wii U. Of course it's an old gaming system, but it's really fun to play with. The same goes for the Xbox. It's really nice to play games on this, and yeah, we had a fair amount of hours into this already. So that's basically the setup. As for the audio, so there's one Toslink output on this HDMI switch that goes to an HDMI connection. That HDMI connection goes with an HDMI cable straight to the Sonos Beam. And the Sonos Beam, of course, drives the surround speakers as well. And that is working really well with this setup. The image is projected onto this screen. It's a manual one from Optoma 92-inch. Which is white. So I could have gone with a bit of a gray screen. That will give you better contrast, but the picture would be not as bright as on a white screen. So let's see what we have to go through before we can actually watch a movie. So I'll start by powering on the HDMI switch, then the Xbox, and last but not least we fire on the projector, yes. Then we have to close the blinds, and I have to pull this screen down manually. And basically, yeah, well, that's it. The only thing left to do now is turn the lights off, and basically we're good to go now. Now, I wouldn't call this projector quite silent. It actually does make quite a lot of noise. There is the projector, and well, there's the camera. It's a bit dark, sorry. At the moment it is set on bright. So if we change this to eco, yeah, a lot better. But of course you can hear the noise of the color wheel now. Yeah, that produces a little bit of a high-pitched sound. So this is eco, and this is bright. Yeah, quite a big difference. Now the problem I have with the eco setting is a little bit of flickering in the image. And it's not a constant flicker, but it's quite random. So it's like it's adjusting the brightness every now and then. And yeah, that results in a bit of flickering in the image, and you don't have that problem on the bright setting. So the fan noise and the flickering in the image are the only things I encountered so far. There's a bit of annoying things with this projector. So let's have a look on the menu structure of this projector. On top we have the image setting. If we go to that, we can choose a display mode. As you can see now it's set to cinema. If we select this, we can choose from cinema to vivid, to game, reference, bright, a little bit green if you ask me, and user. And on that setting you can save your own personal presets. Let's set it back to cinema for now. If you go one menu back, you can choose a wall color. Now, if you have a blackboard or a light yellow, you can match it with the color of the wall you are projecting on. Then we have brightness. You can adjust the brightness there. Contrast, same for that. Sharpness, if you want a bit more crisp image, you can increase this. Standard is set to 10. So when I got the projector, it was already set to 10. The color and the tint, you can't adjust this because that's only reserved for the user setting. Even more color settings, brilliant color, set to 3. You can decrease or increase that as well. Color temperature, standard, you can set it to cool or you can set it to cold. And warm. Warm will give you a bit more yellowish picture, a bit more cinema effect. So you can do that as well. Let's put this to standard again. Yes. Color matching. Here you can even adjust more settings to the red, the green and the blue. Same goes with the option below that, RGB gain bias. Plenty of options for that as well. We'll just set that to auto again. One menu back, then we have dynamic black. Now, if we enable that, you can also see a bit of flickering. I don't know if you can see this on the video, but dynamic black, I've set it to off. Brightness mode, as I mentioned before, it's on bright, or you can change it to eco. Then we have the enhanced gaming settings. If gaming is your thing, you can enable this option, of course. 3D, I haven't had a chance to play with this because I don't have 3D glasses. So yeah, that's set to off for me. Edge mask. And you can see that it's just adding borders to the top and the bottom. Zoom, so you can zoom in the picture. Image shift, if you haven't leveled your projector, you can adjust it a little bit here, horizontally and vertically as well. Then we have keystone, and as you can see, I didn't do a great job mounting this projector because I had to set it to -2, otherwise it would, well, just project out of my projection screen. Yeah, so I've set it to -2. More expensive projectors have lens shift, and cheaper ones like this have a keystone. So then we come to the audio settings. Of course, a mute button if you don't want any audio from the projector. Below that we have the volume settings. And yeah, this is a bit of a problem as well. I forgot to mention it, but the biggest problem I have with the audio on this projector is its volume. Even on 1, it's way too loud. They will make a bit of noise as well, but that's what we're going to change once we installed these components. If I'm watching a movie late night, my girlfriend can hear it upstairs, even on setting 1, and the audio quality itself isn't that great either. So if you don't have any other option to use, then yeah, maybe then it's okay, I guess. So then we come to the setup settings, and at first we have the projection settings, and you can rotate the image. Lamp settings, and with this you can get a notification on the screen when the lamp reaches its life cycle. Yeah, and then of course you have lamp reset, and you can reset the hours the lamp has been used. So then we have the power settings, direct power on, of course, when it receives power, signal power on, so if it receives an HDMI signal, auto power off, it's just a timer. If it doesn't receive a signal, it will power off after 5 minutes. Sleep timer, you can set this to, well, the amount of time you want. For example, 30, 60 minutes, quick resume and USB power. Then we have the security options, and here you can set up a code, and well, if you want to use it, enter the security code. Then we have HDMI link settings. So basically you could, well, if you power on the projector, you could power on the device which is connected to the HDMI connection. Basic setup of the projector options. Yeah, test pattern. And this is pretty handy if you want to align the projector. You can choose from different colors as well, or you can choose from a white or off. Then if you go to options, you can choose the language, menu settings, menu location. Well, where do you want the menu to be displayed on the screen? And the menu timer, I set it to off because I find it rather annoying when I'm searching for options and then poof, the menu disappears. Bit of annoying. Then we have auto source. So this one has 2 HDMI connections. If it receives a signal on one of the channels, it will enable that source automatically. Input source, here you can change the input of the device. Then one option below that, you can name the inputs. So I named the HDMI 1 input Xbox One, HDMI 2, well, that's where the Chromecast is connected to. Didn't name that, but you can change the naming, yeah, right here, custom, and you can choose a name for that. High altitude, on or off, and it will just mess with the cooling. So it's even louder now. Display mode lock, on or off. Keypad lock. So basically this means if you want to disable the controls on the projector itself. Information hide, well, you can turn it on or off. If you don't want to see any information, you set it to off. Logo, apparently if you don't want to see the logo, you can set it to neutral. Well, I don't mind seeing the Optoma logo, but okay, yeah, you can set it there as well. Background color, blue, red, green, gray, logo. Of course, you have the reset OSD. If you want to reset the settings you made on the on-screen display. Not going to do that. And reset to default if you want to reset the whole projector to factory defaults. And then we have the information. And here you can see all sorts of information that could be useful, like serial number, the source it's displaying at the moment, the resolution it's displaying, refresh rate, display mode you selected. The display mode you've set it on, lamp hours, if you have a look on that. As you can see, I have a total of 99 hours on this projector already for a couple of weeks that I have it. I've been using it a lot, yeah. Some of them are on eco, well, 8 hours on eco, 1 on dynamic settings, so it can change itself, the brightness, etc. And most of the time on bright setting because of the flickering I was noticing. Yeah, and last but not least, we have the firmware version, and here it will display the firmware version that is currently installed on the projector. So let's have a look on the image quality of this projector. that is basically what I have been doing for the last month with this projector. Now in the video you could see some rainbow color lines going from the top to the bottom. That's something that came with the recording. It's not something you will actually see when using this projector. Of course the image quality wasn't all that great either. It was regularly out of focus and the menu wasn't all that clear. Sorry about that. As I mentioned in the video, there are only a couple of drawbacks I have with this projector. The first one is the noise level that comes off the fan. And even it is maybe 35 decibels or so. I don't have a decibel meter, so I can only go with the specs of this projector. It's quite audible, and in some quieter scenes when watching a movie that can really distract you. The other problem I have with this projector is the flickering in the image. So if I set this to eco, then well, adjusting the brightness of the image in some sort of a flicker. So yeah, that's a bit annoying as well. So therefore I will need to use it on the bright setting, and therefore I will get much more fan noise. The color wheel in this projector is audible as well, so it produces a high-pitched sound. It's only slightly annoying when you power on the projector. After using it for a while, well, personally I didn't pay any attention to it, and basically the same goes for the fan noise, to be honest. But you can hear it, and if you pay attention to it, well, it may annoy you. Yeah. Then the last thing is the built-in speaker. If you don't have anything else, well, I guess it's all right. I would definitely recommend using a proper setup for this, or an external speaker even. Even a portable speaker will be better than the built-in speaker in this projector. And the calibration setting for the speaker isn't all that great either, because on volume 1 it was even too loud, especially for late night usage. So yeah, no, not a big fan of that. Other than that, I must say I'm pretty pleased with this projector so far. The black levels aren't on par with a standard television. The blacks are gray, it's just like that. It's just very immersive watching a movie on this, and then the black levels don't matter that much anymore. So it's just the screen size that will draw you in an experience like this. Now this is a DLP projector, so it uses a color wheel, which means you can get a rainbow effect when watching movies, especially on subtitles. Some people are sensitive to that. I must admit that I can see it as well, but it doesn't bother me that much. Now after a month I was quite curious what a 4K projector would do, so I bought this one. This is the BenQ TK800M, and this is a 4K, well, it has pixel shift, but it's a 4K projector. I will test this for the next month. Now I do expect much more detail with this projector. Also I hope the fan noise is a bit lower than with the Optoma. Yeah, I'm going to test this and see how this one holds up against a Optoma. This one is more than double the price of the HD144X, so I'll give you that. So this one is around 1200 euros and this one is about 500 euros. So there's a big price difference. This one also has HDR. I actually don't know what to expect on the HDR quality of a projector like that, but we'll have to see. With that I will leave the video at this. If you have any comments, suggestions, maybe some advice, you can leave them down in the comment section. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!